The following podcast contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion advised.
And although we joke, if you or someone you know is affected by or a victim of domestic violence, dial 1-800-799-7233 or visit the National Domestic Violence Hotline's website, thehotline.org.
But it's always the husband, it's always the husband, it's always the husband. How can it be?
Hi, this is Sarah.
And this is Megan.
And you're listening to It's Always the Husband podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you for listening again. And if it's your first time, well, geez. Aren't you in for a real...
You are in for a real
treat.
This is a true crime podcast with a dash of humor. And we only do shows where husbands kill their wives. So surprise.
We know the ending.
You know how this ends. We also have shitty lives. So what?
Yeah.
What got you through this week, Sarah?
Our glitter in the shitter. What got me through the week? I had a few actually. Do I read all of them or do I just do?
Well, save some because then sometimes when we can't come up with one, it's like
they all kind of don't.
Okay.
All right. One is a real one.
Okay.
But it's yours, so actually none of them are real. Your focal gummies.
Yes.
I bought and I enjoy, but the sleep gummies really work.
I know.
I have had terrible insomnia out the puss. The minute my mom birthed me, I haven't slept since.
You never slept.
But those, you take two of them. You're probably supposed to take one, but I take two.
They're only 2.5.
Yeah. And you're dead to the world.
Yeah.
And I don't wake up.
And they have like calming agent, like L-theanine or whatever.
Yes.
It just makes you
so like when you're if you're someone who gets in bed and then you race about all the things you should have done and how you failed at life and all the terrible mistakes you've made, how you should just jump in front of a truck, you take two of those and you're kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed. I feel much better.
Yeah.
I enjoy them.
I agree.
But then I also enjoyed B-Tits Hot Tub this weekend.
My God. That was so fun.
I was so hammed when I got there that I don't even remember going into her house.
You don't?
I don't even remember. I mean, and I do kind of remember going up the stairs, but not a whole lot. And I remember you playing marbles.
Yep. I was playing marbles.
I don't remember at all how I got into the hot tub. And I don't remember like what I did really when I went home to change. I don't know how I got into a swimsuit. I don't remember putting on a swimsuit. And I hope I had one on.
You did.
That's how hammed I got.
I can fill in the blanks for you. First of all, everyone, we love a good brunch and we try to get together, and we just celebrated Amy and B-Tits' birthdays. So we had a birthday brunch. And we call it getting brunched.
Well,
so
I went with the motto, all booze, no food, 2026.
Yes, you sure did.
That is a poor choice.
You didn't even get brunched.
I didn't.
You just got hammered.
I didn't
You had
eat
no
because I
food.
said no.
Yeah.
All booze, no food, 2026. That's my new motto. All booze, no food.
She had two mimosa flights of her own.
Yeah.
Two.
Those are little baby glasses.
Yeah. And then did not eat. Didn't even have.
No, I just wasn't.
Didn't have a French toast.
No.
Didn't have even a side of eggs. Nothing. And then what were you drinking at Yitz? Like
Gin and tonics.
Yeah, gin and tonics. And then you were like, I'm so hungry. And we ordered pizzas,
But
and
then
then
I
you
left.
left.
Yeah.
And then came back. You also had 3 different outfits on that day.
I didn't change once. I think you're just seeing
You
things.
brunched in one outfit.
Yeah.
Then you showed up at Yitz with another outfit. And then you got dressed in your swimsuit at home and put on yet another outfit.
Yeah.
And then every time I said, why are you wearing a different outfit? And you said, I am not.
I never once changed. I've been wearing this the whole day.
You're just screaming.
This
is what I was wearing.
This is what I wore the whole day. But the magic of the hot tub, when I left the hot tub totally sober.
Yeah. And then you're just
Does
like,
it
all right,
melt all of your
I'm
booze
relaxed.
out?
I'm relaxed and I'm ready to go.
Because how did I go in drunker than I'd ever been and then left the hot tub feeling almost normal?
Did you have anyone like refilling your drink when
No,
you were in?
I didn't
See,
have any
that's
drinks.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the cat out of here.
Then I'm talking in the microphone and the cat is literally like looking at me in my face. If you've never listened before, Sarah is well known for her Irish goodbyes, where she never lets anyone drive her anywhere because she always has to have an escape route. And so she never really drinks or goes hard because she always drives.
Yes.
But ladies and gents, she had a driver and she let it rip.
Well, I didn't have a driver. I just let it rip because I drove my own car to Yitz. I had to leave it downtown all night.
But you didn't drive.
I didn't drive back.
No.
I didn't drive home. I had a driver home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I came with the intention that I was going to drive myself away.
Yeah, and you just let it go.
All booze and no food is not a plan for the wise.
We all had so much fun.
It was fun.
We're so proud of Sarah because she stayed
Normally
the whole entire
I have two
time.
drinks, and I stayed till the end-ish.
You stayed.
Tiffany left before me. She ran over to the hot TT of the Beehive.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm sorry," and then ran away. And we were all like, "What? What?"
I don't know. She was feeling down. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't bother the rest
And then,
of us.
well, then my
We
third
just
one was
kept-
my bread turned out.
Yes!
For the fourth try is a charm.
It takes a while.
I haven't looked inside it yet.
It looks from the outside. It
All right.
literally looks perfect. I'm
We'll
so
see.
excited for you to cut it. It's the bulk fermentation.
Yeah, I did that wrong, and then I did that exactly like you said.
Yeah.
And it seems like it looks edible.
It looks really good. It's
We'll see.
beautiful.
All right, what's your glitter?
Mine was all of those things that you just said too, but also Harry Styles was on the Brit Awards.
Yes.
It is my favorite thing so
Harry
far in
Styles?
2026.
I heard Dua
His
Lipa was good on the Brit Awards.
Performance was unreal. He did choreography, Sarah. It was the cutest thing you've ever seen. He's so hot.
Did he
I
show
love
his
him.
balls?
No. And then at the end when he smiles and he has those dimples.
I didn't see his at all, and I didn't hear he was on it at all.
I'm going to post it because it is, and I sent it to just like Cassie, my daughter Sadie.
your other
and
friends.
Then, no, my daughter and my nieces, my two daughters. So I sent it to Eloise, Sadie, Finley, Sienna, and then my sister. And Cassie was like, "Oh my god!"
No, I missed that entirely because I saw the other performances and his wasn't on my
Yeah, it's really
reel.
good.
But
It's
look,
really
that's
good. Okay.
He does good performances
Yeah.
because he performs.
Yes.
He puts on a show.
Yes, it was amazing, and I loved it. That's my glitter.
I was going to say we have some Patreons.
What?
Lauren Lennox.
Lauren, that's a nice name.
cute
Lauren
name.
Lennox. That's cute.
I don't know if I did Mara Spencieri from Canada.
I don't remember that.
So her too, because she's a foreign. It looks like her money is different. It says CA, so I think she's a Canadian.
Thanks, Mara.
Good job, Canadians. When we were in England, we might have to maybe say,
How can we fly back from England through Canada and make a stop there?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
Get some syrup.
I want to, and we could go see Shauna in Vancouver.
Yes, we could. That's way on the other side.
Oh, that's way far away. But that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Where else could we stop?
We could stop in Banff. Isn't that?
Yeah, that's a place.
But they're probably not ready for visitors yet.
I don't know. Well, anyway.
So Lauren and Mara, thank you.
Thanks, you guys. We appreciate it so much.
We have a Patreon episode ready to put on, but
we have a wedding.
we have to
But
record
we didn't do it yet.
We'll have to do that
Yeah.
this week sometime.
And
And then we have a Facebook group. We have
we do.
social media. We have Instagram. And a Facebook group that you can join.
it's called It's Always the Husband podcast group.
I picked my Facebook funny fucker because people are pretty funny on there.
Yeah.
I did like Alicia, the Aussie.
That's what I was gonna say.
I liked the idea of the thing she showed where a girl was going to work with pink hair and got scolded. Is that the one you picked?
Yes, that's what I picked.
Scolded for her pink hair and then just decided, fuck it, I'm going to wear askew, horrible wig to work.
So funny.
And she is wearing Annie wigs. She looks like Annie, but it's brown.
Like clown wigs.
Yes.
Just wearing terrible wigs.
Or the Twilight wigs maybe she got.
Oh my God. And then was just like, fuck you, everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to just go. Well, I go to work looking like I've been run over by a car every day. Like I'm dragged to hell and back. And then I just went to work right after.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to just wear a different askew wig and not ever explain it.
It's like Moira Rose.
Yes. I mean, she could get away with it.
That's so good.
I know. That made me giggle because I just thought.
Well, that was mine. We picked the
both
same
picked
one.
the same one.
And we didn't
both
know
liked
it.
That one.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you want to see what our Facebook fuss is all about, you can join. Just ask to join. We'll let you in. We also have a book club, and we're reading a Ruth Ware book called The Turn of the Key. And so we're actually going to do it because Sarah and I are going to be traveling. We're going to do it the week. We usually do it the last Tuesday of the month, but we're going to do it right before we leave. And we do it on, what is it called? Zoom. God.
Oh.
I just lost a word. We do it on Zoom, and so anyone can join. And we'd love to read with you.
I know. That's fun. It's fun.
No, let's get into this.
We did a Dateline again. So we watch a show and then we tell you the case based on how the show presented the case.
This one was insane.
This one was weird. That's why I said I listened to it. And I was like, aw, I got to save that in our...
It was kind of a long one.
It was kind of long.
I felt like they made it too long.
They did. They think they wanted to stretch it out to a long one and it could have been shorter.
Yeah.
All right, we're going all the way back 21 years to October 2005. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And this is an Andrea one. All right, and we're outside of Atlanta.
Andrea's hair looked really good in this episode,
yes, I thought that too.
Yeah.
We're in like Smyrna, Georgia, in that county area.
Yes.
So October 2005, Andrea is talking to this man, and either he lived in this apartment complex or he was like I think he just lived in it.
Yeah, he lived there.
So this man named Ronnie Myers walking in the parking lot with Andrea. He's telling his story. So he says, you know what? I spent all night at the dog track. And so I came back home from being at the dog track all night. Was it this guy? I just wanted to see him at the dog track.
I know.
And he's like 6,000 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's wearing just t-shirt and shorts, and he's wearing socks with sandals.
Yes.
And Andrea is in an immaculate dress.
And he's like, here's my shot on Dateline. I'm taking it.
Oh,
I'm gonna wear
great. Yeah.
my t-shirt and
he was trying to explain everything very well.
Yes.
You know, you could tell he really wanted to do well for Andrea. So he says, I back into my parking spot, but his lights, he said, they shine on something shiny just sitting there. And so then he says, and it's a woman's purse on the curb, just sitting there. And then Andrea said, was it closed up or was shit spilled out all over? And he said, no, it was all just closed up, just sitting there.
Yeah.
So he says, what I thought was someone got a bit inebriated.
Yes.
And just left their purse on the, which I would have, any of us could do. I mean, I lost my watch and had a total breakdown.
Yeah.
And this is the watch I lost 3 years ago.
And you found it.
Well, I found my old one and then I replaced it with that other one that I had lost.
Yeah.
But B-Tits found it.
Where did you find
this
the old
one? I
had
had
left
lost 2 summers ago. I couldn't find it anywhere and it was in this podcast room. So I already bought another watch because I'm an idiot.
I love it.
So then anyway, the purse is on the ground. So the guy's like, I should touch it. I shouldn't touch it. I should touch it. I shouldn't touch it. I wasn't going to touch it. I'll touch it.
Yeah.
So he takes the purse. He brings it in. he opens it up just to try to find out whose it is. There's a phone in there, a wallet, and there's a note in there that says, I love you from John.
Yeah.
Oh. But he goes to the cell phone. I thought, obviously, these are when cell phones weren't locked, because he said he just scrolled through and looked for the numbers. So he had the cell phone. Or it probably was a flip
probably
phone.
like a Nokia or something. Yeah.
So he found the driver's license, and it said Casey Peak. So then he found a number for someone named John Peak. And he said, well, it's probably this Casey's brother or her husband. I'm going to give him a call. So he calls, though, in the morning, because he was at all night out at the dog track.
Yeah, he had to go to take
gambling at the dog track. Did you ever go to that River Falls dog track?
No.
I went once. Like when I was 20.
No. I've only gone like if they have like wiener dog races,
At
like
Shakopee?
fun things for the kids.
Oh, there was an actual like dog track.
Yeah,
in
no, I've
River
never
Falls.
been to like a greyhound.
Yeah. So he calls John Peak, this guy Ronnie Myers who found the purse. And John Peak answers and he says, hi, I'm trying to reach a Casey Peak. And John Peak says, who is this? And he says, well, I found her purse in my complex. So does she want her purse? So John comes, picks up the purse. And then the show switches to a 911 call.
Mm-hmm.
John is calling 911. And John now has turned into a high talker. You would swear this is a woman again.
Just like
the two other ones. We had the high talker where it's a woman's voice. He is fake crying terrible.
Terrible fake crying.
I mean, this is very, very terrible.
Yep.
Yep. Where they're like, ma'am, please.
And you could even hear him try to go like...
Yeah. He's trying to pretend to cry.
Had the fakest sniffs ever.
This absolute fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure they called him ma'am multiple times and they cut it out. They're like, ma'am, what's your problem? And he says, I'm John Peak. I found my wife, Casey Peak, dead. Ma'am, can you repeat that? In the bedroom.
So bizarre.
I didn't get that. And she's like, well, how did she die, ma'am? And he said, I didn't get that close, but she's stiff. If my husband died, I would try to figure out what happened at least.
Right.
Before I ran away and didn't try to revive him or anything.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? You're not with the body anymore?
Like what
are
if
you
she
doing?
Just smoked a blunt or something and was passed out?
Or on any one of our perimenopause medications.
Yes.
You know, you don't know stiff from staff.
No.
So 44-year-old Casey Peak was deceased. So within minutes, officers are there. John's waiting outside. The officers, there's like two detectives that come. They're showing pictures of John at this point, and right away, I felt right away like I had a very strong idea that John wasn't into puss.
You did?
He was into ween.
They kept saying that he was a handsome guy, and I was like, really?
No.
I mean, he wasn't like hideous, but he. I don't
first
know.
of all, no, he wasn't handsome.
No.
Second.
Okay.
There are photos in here where I'm writing, during the show, I'm writing Freddie Mercury, but gayer. This man was so gay. I just was like, he is gay. Whichever, but like when you learn what this man has done, you're like, why couldn't you just stick to ween? Ween never hurt nobody. Except these men.
From him,
I did terribly.
Okay.
I think it was the constant woman's clothing he was wearing. He was wearing women's clothing in the 70s photos he was in. I mean, it looks like the 80s. Something was terribly off.
Yeah.
With his clothing choice. So though within minutes, so he's just sitting there and he was wearing very ugly shirts and shorts for this one, but his face looks crazy because I also think he could have had the same Paku-ish eyes.
Yeah, one eye was a little off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So their police are like, what's the deal here? And he said, well, yesterday, this is John crying to the police. She told me she was going to a friend's house. And they're like, well, whose house? Now, again, the husband and the wife are living separate.
Yes.
Because this is her condo, Casey's condo, and John lives in this big mansion house.
Yeah.
And then, so there's Detective Ron, like Wydell, I think his name is. And they're like, what friend? And he's like, Kim. And so they're like, okay. And so they go into the condo, and the detective was like, it was weird because it was, every blind was drawn. It was weird and dark. They go into the back bedroom. The victim was there, but she's like, her glasses were still on. The TV was on. Like, she wasn't just,
yeah.
And her glasses were askew.
And then shit was everywhere.
Yeah. And, there's one bullet from a rifle. She held her hand up. And so it went through her hand and then through her chest. They found it in the mattress. The entire apartment was ripped apart, but he's like, nothing looks like it's actually been taken. Like, nothing was taken. It was so... Right away, he's like, this is a staged crime scene. She's separated from her husband. Like, I feel like he knew right away.
He did. In these last 2 episodes we've done, the cops have been like onto it, but then it just becomes like, can you find the evidence
yes.
Yeah.
So we get Casey's sister, who ends up being a hero of the show. She speaks for many women at the end. Her name, though, I couldn't abide. Do you remember her name?
Wait, are we talking about the sister?
The sister who eventually wore the
mic. Yeah. I've never seen a name that weird before.
I've never seen a name by this. I don't know if I can get behind it or
even
not.
I cannot get behind it because the spelling
was terrible too.
What?
Her name was Jackie Dawn.
And it was
Jackie Dawn.
G.
And I thought maybe it was Jacqueline Dawn. No, it's Jackie Dawn. JAQUIDON.
I thought it was CQ.
Or CQ? CQUIDON. It's Don like Donald, too. Jackie Dawn.
Yeah.
And you say it that fast, Jackie Dawn. Not like Jackie Dawn.
No, yeah.
Jackie Dawn.
Jackie Dawn.
Jackie Dawn. And her husband, David. Jackie Dawn. Jackie Dawn.
And they said it every time, Jackie Dawn. Like they didn't just call her
Jackie Dawn.
Jackie.
Or Jax.
Or Dawn.
Jackie Dawn.
Or Keydon.
No. Jackie Dawn. Jackie Dawn and brother Dave and her husband David, Jackie Dawn, get a call from the police, and they pretty much go, your sister's, she's dead. And Jackie Dawn is in shock. But she, in her head too, I think was like, that fucker John.
Yeah.
And then Casey, we meet her friends. She has really, really good friends. We meet famous Kim. He says, and a friend Jan. They're totally in shock. Casey was hanging out at Kim's house, like he said, and Kim was like, just stay overnight, just hang out. And Casey was like, oh, I got shit to do, I gotta go all the way home, whatever. And so Kim, of course, is in eternal grief and guilt.
Yeah.
And Jan is just like, cannot believe it. So Jackie Dawn and David fly to Texas, and Jackie Dawn talks about how Casey was originally doing really well. She moves from Texas to Atlanta. She meets friends right away. They were all kind of like a single gal group. Casey, though, was at home one day, and John walked into her house. I don't know what he was doing. IT? Something stupid.
It was with, computers.
But John comes into her house. Actually, he was at +1 at a party. And she was having a party at her house, and they hit it off at this party, her and John. And then her friends are like, holy shit, then they were married in like 4 months after that.
Yes.
So they became an instant couple and got married in 4 months. Both John and Casey had been married before. John had been married 3 times before. Of course, they say John starts out all super romantic, but he's a huge love bomber. So he's sending love notes and flowers and scavenger hunts. Oh. And he buys this giant ass mansion house, like a mansion house outside of Atlanta. And they live there, him and Casey. John kind of fits in with the circle of friends, but a few years has gone by. John takes a job at Habitat for Humanity, and it's like he works 100 miles away. So he stays like there during the week and then comes home some weekends.
Right.
Casey, though, all of her friends are like, bitch, you know he's cheating.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no.
Her friends, they were like us, too.
Yeah.
Like, they were kind of wild. Like, they'd whoop it up, and they liked to
and
get
had no
brunched.
problem calling her a dumb cunt when she was being a dumb cunt about John. But Casey's like, no. I'm just going to, he says, no, I'm just going to believe his word. But Casey gets the credit card bill one day.
Yeah.
And she sees a hotel charge for like that weekend. And in her mind, John told her he was out with the guys doing some like fishing weekend. So he's like, well, then why is he staying in town at a hotel on our credit card? So she drives over to that hotel and she goes up there. She says, my husband's here. They're like, Miam.
She psychs out.
Yeah, Miam. What room? Like, I don't know what room, but I know the charge on my credit card. And they're like, Miam, we can't give you that information.
Yeah, we can't tell you that.
And what it sounds like is she leapt across the counter, grabbed this man by the collar and said, you fucking tell me the room that my husband's in, or I'm going to cut your dick off and feed it to you.
And they told her?
Yeah, so they told her the room. And
so illegal.
She goes
That's
up.
so great.
And is pounding on the door like, John, you fucker, I know you're in there. But no one answers it. And eventually security comes and drags her away.
Right.
And so she's super pissed and upset. John, of course, tells her, nah, baby, I wasn't doing nothing. I was having sex with a man, not a gal. You know I don't care for the puss. No, and she just is like, I don't know what you're talking about. So April 2005, she's just like, fuck this. They've only been married 5 years at this point. She moves into this condo they have. And this is 6 months before her death. So after like a month or two of this, they try to get back together again.
He like starts to try to date her again.
Yeah, and she's like, maybe I'll give it another chance. But she does know at this point he had been cheating and had multiple affairs.
Yes.
So Kim, the friend, is like, bitch, please. You do not need this gross ass man. Right. You're got a foot out the door. Just get all the way out the door. In Casey's like, oh, I'm just going to give him a second chance.
Why,
and
Casey?
I don't know. But
why?
They said she seemed like she was okay with it and happy. So they were like, she's going to get her kicked in the cunt again. And then we're making her end it. But here we are in October. She's dead. So,
bad idea.
Yes. Her friends are just like, holy shit. Good grief. So the police talk to John. They bring John in from the parking lot and they bring him into the police station. Where he's been pacing back and forth like a dick. Cry. So John tells the police, well, you see, and he has not one tear or anything in his voice, or even like where like no grief in his voice at all. It's like he could be talking about corn on the cob. And he says, well, we're separated, but we're getting back together. We're still apart, but we're kind of, dating again. And the police are like, gross, really?
But he's like, yeah, every Tuesday.
Yeah.
I drive up.
So they're like, just tell us what now. How did you find her body? And he's like, well, I get this caliber out of her purse. And so I went to check on her. And I walked in and she was dead. And then I ran out of the house. I'm like, really? You didn't try like CPR? You didn't like try anything, or just like to say like,
no,
shake her? Really? Because you just kind of touched her toe and ran? So then he calls 911. And then the police are like, well, was she dating or seeing anyone else? And John's like, oh, no. She's not a whore. But again, he's not crying. He's not sad. John tells the police that, oh, by the way, Casey kept asking me if I was cheating on her. And I was like, honey, no, absolutely not. And then John says, but I was. I lied to her face.
And they were like, okay.
Oh, they're like, you're seeing another woman? Well, she lives with me. We live together. We've been dating a year.
Oh, and then they're like, but you're dating Casey as well?
It's like, what? You're trying to get back together with your wife? And you have another woman living with you? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, you fucking psychotic idiot.
Know.
You're just like... So then Lisa is the girlfriend.
Lisa.
So Lisa, not Liza, but Lisa with a Z.
Yes.
It's Lisa, not Liza with a Z. So Lisa also works for Habitat for Humanity. They both started dating like a year before. And dumbass John tells the police, like, oh, Lisa knew I was married. She's totally okay with it. She thinks it's super cool.
And they're like, no one does.
No. And then when they talk to Lisa, she's like, bitch told me he was divorced. And it was almost a full year before I realized he was still married to her.
She's like, I was in the hotel room when she came and psyched out.
And was like, why is she doing that? And then realized she doesn't think they're divorced.
Yeah.
I mean, she thinks they're still together.
Yeah.
Well, that was even before she moved out when that happened. And this is where they show another picture of John, and he has bosoms. he had B's for sure, bosoms. So I thought there's something going on with John. He's wearing women's clothes and has bosoms.
I missed all these, but I didn't watch it with my glasses on.
Oh,
so
well,
you
missed some hunks. Then of course John is talking about Lisa, and he pretty much says, well, she's a weird gun bitch anyway. Like, once she threatened to kill me and said if I came and saw her in the bedroom, she'd blow my tits off.
And they were like, wow,
yeah,
you've got a lot going on.
Yeah. And then John's like, and then she has a gun in her trunk. You know, I'm not in personally to guns.
I'm not into
but
guns.
She's into guns. And the detectives are like, well, all right, then we need to find Lisa. But they take a gunshot residue test of this Dick John, and he has no gunshot residue on him, which means he just wore gloves.
Right.
Or had them covered in feces first, which for a man...
or hired someone else to do it. I mean...
Yeah, any of these.
Yeah.
So the police that are still at the condo... notice no forced entry, nothing looks stolen, and it looks like just a horrible staged scene. She was also covered with a blanket. I think after she was killed, the person went and covered her, not even over her head, like to her, like covered her in bed and tucked her in bed. So they thought that seems really personal. But no, none of the neighbors heard the gunshot. There was no witnesses. So they go find Lisa Kent. Lisa with a Z, not a Liza. So she is like, oh fuck, because they're like, John's wife is dead. She was murdered, and she's like, shit.
And then she's like, and then they're like, and you have a gun.
Yeah.
So she knew right away they were like after her.
And so they told her, you are a suspect.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, John told me he was divorced. Then it was our 1 year anniversary, and I learned he's still married. So I said, bitch, I'm out. And he's been working to keep her. And it was just a week before Casey's murdered, this day, that she tells police, well, he told me a week ago he had just signed all the divorce papers and they were finalized. You know, no such thing had happened.
No.
So why does he make this horrible of a lie? He knows he's going to try to kill her, and then he'll never have to explain this.
Yes.
So Lisa says, well, it wasn't me because I was at her Habitat for Humanity job, and that's 100 miles away. And she was also staying with friends.
She was like with a friend that weekend.
And so she has an alibi. It was not her. And then they said, well, John says that you just threatened to shoot off his tits if he came into the bedroom. And she's like, not exactly. He was like hitting her and aggressive. So she ran away from him and locked herself in her bedroom. He was trying to like break down the door. And she said, bitch, I have a gun. And I'll fucking shoot your tits off.
Yeah.
And shooting your tits are like hitting a barn. You got big ones. But if I was aiming for your dong, I would need my telescope. So Lisa is like, yeah, he's a lying fucking weirdo. But
then don't they tell her too? They're like, by the way, he was trying to date Casey again. And she was like, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, he was dating her every Tuesday.
They were not even close to being divorced.
No. And then she was like, excuse me, what did you say?
Yeah.
And he's like, they went on dates every Tuesday. And she's like, that's where he was
going.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like she probably is just like, what?
Oh, then
was
she's got to be
thinking?
pissed.
And then John himself is in an interview and they're 4 hours in. Mm-hmm. And they said, is there anything from your past that we should know about, John? And John says, let me think about this one for a minute. Oh, wait. Did I mention that my third ex-wife was murdered too? My last wife I had, she was murdered 9 years ago.
That was 10 years ago, but
and they're like, what the hell? You haven't what? But then how did they not look him up and not see this? I don't know. So he's like, yeah, my wife before this, because Casey was his fourth. Mm-hmm. My third wife was beaten to death and killed with her friend in 1996.
And I was a suspect.
I've heard of suspect. And he's like, well, I just forgot to mention it, but I would have mentioned it. And they're like, you forgot that talking about this murdered wife, about your other murdered wife? What are you talking about? Should one murdered wife have jogged the memory of the other murdered wife?
Yep, that should be enough.
If I had all these husbands and multiple ones were murdered, that would be way on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
One would think, yeah.
And then the police were like, oh, holy shit, did Casey know your other wife was murdered? And he's like, oh, yes. And then her friends are like, well, yeah, Casey knew, but not a whole lot. Just that it was like kind of sad and weird.
Well, and it was two people. It was the wife and her friend. And so it didn't really seem...
He could have easily said it was someone targeting her friend and she got caught up in it.
Right.
And you would be like, oh, God. You know, like it could be totally off him if you explain it that way.
Right.
And we'll get into what happened to this woman. Carol was her name, I believe.
Carol.
So about this previous wife, there's Detective Eddie Herman. He's like 100 right now.
Yeah.
And he worked detective Cobb County. So the detectives that just meet John Peake give Eddie Herman a call because they just have learned that John Peake had a previous dead wife that was murdered. And so they call and Eddie Herman answers, and the detective Ray or whatever his name is says, does the name John Peake mean anything to you? And there was such a long silent pause on the line. The detective calling thought Eddie Herman had dropped the phone.
He passed
hello?
on. Yeah.
Like he died. And Eddie Herman was like, I just traveled back in time a minute, because this was like the case that had haunted him. Like this, he had been still working this case for 9-10 years. 9 years. And so Carol Marlin was John's common law wife. So they weren't technically married, but I think if you're like together 10 years, you get common law status.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
They were in
depending
Georgia,
on your state,
right?
Yeah, and I feel like in the South, maybe that time is shorter, and you can also have it be your cousin. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Detective Eddie, though, is like, holy shit. So he said how this happened is he gets a late night call from John Peake, or just saying this guy John Peake says his wife Carol is missing. And I lost my spot here. Like Carol was supposed to go out to dinner with friends. She should have been home back by 8 p.m., but it's like 10:30. So the detective's like, well, maybe she's like hanging out with her friends or having a drink. You know, it's been 2 hours, John. You're fine. So then, because the weather was fine or whatever. So Detective Eddie's like called a few other precincts. Has there been car accidents? Has there been something? There's no Carol. He's trying to kind of make calls. There's no Carol. So in the morning, he calls John back. Like, I don't know where your wife Carol is. So John does a missing persons report. And this is where this This is where they showed an old photo of John and Carol, and I wrote, he is gayer than Freddie Mercury. He looks like Freddie Mercury, but a gayer Freddie Mercury. Did you not see? He looks like he's trying to be in a French Freddie Mercury look-alike contest because he looks like a French gay Freddie Mercury. He's wearing like the whole striped, like oh la la, and he has this like mustache.
Well, is it a Halloween picture?
I don't know, maybe. But why would you go as a French gay Freddie Mercury?
I don't know.
But if he did, that's kind of funny, actually. Especially if he could sing, I guess. But
no one can sing like Freddie.
No, that's true. So John had met Carol. They both work at Lockheed Martin.
Yes.
Which is a aerospace
oh my God. And literally,
engineer.
They couldn't have said the words Lockheed Martin more
Lockheed
times.
Martin.
It was
Lockheed Martin.
And this person worked at Lockheed Martin. And this person worked at Lockheed Martin. They all worked at Lockheed
Jackie
Martin.
Jackie Dunn did not work at Lockheed
Jackie Dunn didn't, though. No.
So John is last heard from Carol. Carol said, I'm going to pick up Maggie at 4:30 from the airport, and then we'll hang out or whatever. So Maggie was her kind of grandma work friend who was like 20 years older, but they were besties.
Yeah.
Besties at work. So detectives go by like their favorite restaurant just to see if Carol's car was maybe parked there and she just was sleeping it off with Maggie, but that's not happening. Detectives then go to this Maggie Ginn's house, or Ginn. Maggie Ginn?
Yeah, I think it was house. Yeah.
And then they asked, they couldn't get the address from John because John kept saying over and over, like, I don't know where Maggie lives. I don't know where Maggie lives. I just kind of know where her phone is, but her phone number, I don't know where she lives, over and over. So the police had to find Maggie's address from Lockheed Martin, and they drove there in the morning. And they also call Carol's sister Susie, who lives in Ohio, and they're like, is Carol known to stay out all night? We're looking for her. And she's like, no. It was so odd for Carol that Susie thought she had to have been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a 48-year-old woman.
Right.
No one's kidnapping 50-year-old women.
No. Except someone did kidnap Savannah Guthrie's mom, and
but I think that was
in her 80s.
I think that was her son-in-law.
Yikes.
So the morning again, no sign of Carol. They go to Maggie's house. Carol's car is there. They call in the house. They call Maggie's number, and they can hear Maggie's phone ringing outside. All the police standing outside, but no one's answering the phone. So they start pounding on the door and the windows, saying, "Hello, Carol, Maggie, you need to answer now. People are looking for you." Nothing. So they, I guess, have to get permission to go in, but can't they think that someone might be hurt and get in? I thought police could do that. But they call Maggie's granddaughter and say, we have suspicious circumstances happening at your grandma's house. Can we come in? We're the police. Can we go in? And Maggie's granddaughter's like, yes, please. Like, please. So they kick down the door. They walk right in, and in the kitchen is Carol's dead body, beaten to death, like severely beaten to death with what they think is a hammer. And so then they're like, fuck. And so they know Maggie's going to be in the similar situation. And she was in another room, beaten to death, but not nearly as bad as Carol. Carol had gotten the brunt of all the force, like was beaten severely, far more than Maggie. So then just randomly, John Peake shows up at Maggie's, even after saying 1,700 times that he doesn't know where she lives.
Right.
So the detective's like, you dumb fucker. Like,
you keep lying.
Just doing this dumb shit. So there's no sign of a break-in again. Scene is very staged as a robbery with nothing taken, just like at Casey's house. So then they're thinking, is this a plan? Would someone target these two or target Maggie? And Carol's at the wrong place at the wrong time. And then Maggie's family's like, no one's going to go kill this lady. She didn't do anything and knew nothing. And so detectives notice that, Carol, the overkill on Carol. And so they start thinking John, especially since he shows up after lying to them that he didn't know where it was. There is kind of a side off,
but he told the new detectives that he didn't know where it was. So these
No, he took them, though, told them too.
Oh, he did.
And then when
tell
they finally
them?
questioned him and said, "Bitch,
yeah, that's right.
You said you didn't know what she said." He said, "I also, I guess, got it from Lockheed Martin. They're not going to give it to you.
No.
They're not going to give a personal thing to you. They'll give it to the police.
Right.
You idiot." So they knew he was lying. But it's Carol had high-level security clearance as an engineer here and is aerospace tech. Like, are people really beating women and old ladies to death over astrotech? I don't know. I guess it could happen.
I guess.
But they learned Carol and John are just common law. Carol didn't want to. She said, "Fuck it, I'm never getting married again." But she did have like an enormous $700,000 life insurance and some other money.
Right.
And then they interviewed John, and of course he's like, never, not crying, doesn't sound sad in the slightest. So he says, no one, of course, would want to kill Carol. And they're like, where were you? He's like, well, I left work at 5. I went to Wendy's.
Yeah.
And then I went home and I was done eating by 8. So it took you 3 hours to eat Wendy's? How much did you order?
You got a salad and a baked potato.
How did you eat 3 hours?
And then I thought about Wendy's for a long time after I watched this.
I thought about
like,
their chili.
I should go to Wendy's right now.
But he's a slow eater and a high talker. John, a few days earlier, then he tells this idiot story to the cops that Carol was getting life-threatening letters at work.
Yeah.
Carol and 4 other employees. And so they call the work and like, yeah, this stupid fucking letter that doesn't make any sense because it has nothing to do with anything that they do. Just says, you're going to do it or pay the price. And it doesn't even say do what.
It didn't.
And then another clue is that
and like 4 people got this
and they all have nothing in common.
Like,
and it has nothing to do with any of their work. So it was super weird. Maggie at her house when she's deceased, slumped in a chair, the police found an invoice shoved into her hand from Lockheed Martin. And the invoice was signed by a man named Barry Webb. And while they're looking at this, literally Barry Webb calls into the police. And he says, fuckers, I saw the news and boy, do I have a story for you. So they're like, well, we are just looking for you. So they call in Barry Webb. Barry Webb also works at Lockheed Martin. And he was couple besties, he and his wife with John and Carol for a while.
Yeah.
So he tells his story. He says, first off, they're like, well, we wanted to call you, Barry, because Maggie is dead, and in her hand is an invoice signed by you for Lockheed Martin. And he's like, well, that's not even close to my signature. And they're like, well, can we get a handwriting sample from you? And he's like, yes, but I don't. He's like, I've never made an R like that in my life. Yeah. So they're like, he's like, fine. And then they're like, well, what did you want? He's like, well, last night at 10:15, I get home, I'm watching TV, and I hear a noise in my basement. So he says, I go in my basement, I look out the window, and then the basement's kind of connected to the garage. So he opens up the garage door, and he's like, someone's in my garage. And I said, what are you doing here? And then the person says, I'm watching you. Ran out and had a clinkety-clink plastic bag as they were holding. And so the guy, Barry says he couldn't tell what was in the plastic bag, but it was like metal. He heard something like things clinking together. And then they said, well, who's the guy? And he said, it was John Peake. And he said, I was watching you. And then he ran away.
And they were co-workers and friends.
Yes.
They had gone on double dates.
And so, and this happened the night of the murder. So then John gets home and calls up Barry and says, sorry, I was just looking for Carol. And Barry's like, fucking Carol's not here. What were you doing in my garage with a bag? And like, what are you talking about?
So weird.
And so he tells like the police this, and then police said, well, did you fuck Carol? And Barry's like, no way. And then they're like, are you sure we're like in a year from now I'm not going to learn that you didn't just fuck Carol?
Yeah,
and he's like, well, I would be shocked, and so would my wife. I had nothing to do with her.
Don't you dare to
it sounds like he didn't even want to ever hang out with these. It was his wife's fault or something that he's hanging with Carol and John, because John's so weird.
These people are the last ones I'd want to fuck.
And so then the police are like, well, holy shit. They go back to John and say, why is this Barry Webb telling us all this fuckery it did to his garage? And then John says, I'm not going to talk to you. And he gets a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so he never explains any of that.
And we still don't get it.
No. I mean, I think the police know maybe what he was trying to do.
Was he trying to frame him?
He was going to put the hammer in his garage.
Yeah.
And then probably take something of his to put it back there. Yeah. So the crime scene now is fake. And they're wondering, obviously John knew where Maggie lived, but can we get evidence of that? They're just like, he's not talking to them now. But Carol's friends then said to the police, John's been to Maggie's 1,000 times. He's fixed a ton of her furniture. He's done this and that. He's done
he hooked up her VCR.
Yeah, he's done shit ton. He knows exactly where she lived. And Maggie's family was like, well, Maggie's not the target. Carol was, obviously. And so John is a dirty, filthy killer and a bitch. So the police are like, yeah, we agree, but we have to build this case against him and get more evidence. And even Carol's sister's like, yeah, I knew John. Yeah. Or was she the one? Yeah, John could have done it. I think her mom was a little more skeptical.
The mom and dad said John wouldn't do it. And the sister's like,
he would.
He perved out on me when we went camping.
That's right.
And he was like, are you going to take a shower?
Did you see Andrea's face when she said that? Andrea's face was like her face was in such a contorted disgust.
I know. And Andrea was like, you mean he wanted you to take your clothes off and shower in front of him? She's like, yeah, that's what I mean. You dumbass.
She's like, that's like the idea, to get naked. Like, once you die.
Yes.
And then what do you say? Like, I'm not going to get naked in front of you right now. You're my brother-in-law, and this is
disgusting. You're married to my sister.
Yes, this is fucked.
Dumb piece of shit.
And then Susie also was like, I know that bitch cheated on Carol all the time, but she wasn't sure Carol knew. Now, meanwhile, Casey had just found out too for her that he had cheated on her all the time. But Susie, the sister, who was also, almost shower molested by John, said that Carol and John were fighting all the time and that John had ended sex. Yes, because he was having sex with something that wasn't a puss. That is for sure. Police, they don't have much physical evidence, and so they're just like fucking sick to their stomach because they know it's him. They even go to the DA, and the DA is like, I know you're on the right track. It's probably this guy. For sure it's this guy. But it's just not quite enough evidence to risk him, getting off. So the case started going cold, and now we're 9 years later. John gets to cash out Carol's $700,000 life insurance, and he moves into this mansion with Casey. But he did tell Casey, I was a suspect in 1996, but he never really said, and I'm still the only suspect to her.
Right.
So Detective Herman still wanted to talk to John all the time, and he would call him up or just stop over randomly just to jar him and see what he would say, or if he'd say anything different. In his head, he had the case open. And so when he heard from the other detective about Casey's death, he was like, oh my God, he did it again. Because he got away with this one, he did it again. And then he felt guilty because if I would have got him, or if we had enough more evidence, Casey would still be alive. I mean, she would. So Lisa with a Z, that's not Liza, John's girlfriend, started realizing that John, during this time now, he's after Casey's death, he's acting real weird. He's trying to blame it on her and frame her. And so she goes to the police again and tells the police, our relationship is fucked. At the beginning, he was doing this love bombing, and now he's a controlling, manipulative fuck who's mean. And
And who's apparently dating his
Yes.
ex-wife again while with me.
And was it Casey's email that he hacked or Liza's? One of them, I think it was Liza's email. He like has been hacking into her email.
I can't
And she
remember.
found out some way and called him on it. He was like, so. And then Casey's friend said John would tell Casey all the time that she's a fat ass.
Yeah.
And that Casey actually went and got lipo.
Yeah.
Because of it. And so, and you could see
And then
Andrea
this
was
comes up
pissed.
again.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So at Casey's funeral, and it's the same funeral home that Carol.
The first wife or the third wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so John went, but barely, just kind of right, like at the last minute, sits way in the back. This is your wife's funeral. Why are you sitting in the back? What is going on? Why did not you make yourself look more insanely weird?
Right.
Don't you go and sit in the back? What is going on?
You're supposed to be down.
I mean, and I guess they were separated a bit, but he, as far as all of her friends and family knew, they were getting back together.
Right.
I don't know. But then her friends did the eulogy and were like, you know who's a fucking loser with herpes? John! You know who sex is? John! You know who has syphilis real bad? John!
That's right. We're looking at you, John.
They were like, they were just saying
they
things
said
and
we were
looking at
staring him down.
Yeah, because they knew he did it.
Yeah.
And then Lisa is like getting so nervous about John that he now killed 2 women,
Right.
3 women. That Lisa goes, I was sleeping with a knife under my pillow.
Yeah.
Well, goodness.
She didn't use it fast enough.
No. And police now have to search all of John's properties because he has quite a bit from all these dead women. But they can't find a .30 caliber weapon, which was used to shoot Casey.
Right.
John also had a super fascination with true crime. So he had like Dateline on VHS and like 400 taped
He was like
copies
the
of Datelines.
original
Yes,
asshole.
he was. So they're like, okay, so he's probably thinking of evidence and all this stuff. He's heard it a million times.
Right.
Then the burial service is different. Casey's buried somewhere like on a different day or something. I don't know. But he goes to this burial service. And that's where Jackie Dunn is there with David. And John goes up to Jackie Dunn and David and says, you guys want to get some coffee? I mean, come on. So Jackie Dunn is like, I wanted to kick him right in the nuts because she knows he did it and that she knows he killed the other 2 women. So then she goes to the police and says, well, John wants to go to coffee with us. So should we go? What do we say? And the police are like, holy shit, can you wear a wire? And she's like, bitch, I'll wear a wire. And then David, who I thought was so cute, her old elderly husband.
Yeah, he was super cute.
So cute.
I thought she was really pretty too, Jackie Dunn was.
Jackie Dunn and David were the bomb.
Yeah.
So David is like trying to help her, like calm her down with the wire.
You don't do the talking. You let him do the talking.
Yeah. And she's like, but I want to be a skeptical witness or skeptical conversation. He's like, you do your skeptical conversation silent. He's like, you just let her talk now. Or him talk now. You let that ma'am talk. And so, but right away, Jack Dunn sits down for coffee and is like, bitch, I know you killed all those women. You killed them all, John. Every one of you. I know you killed them. I'm going to hunt you down, you fucker. I hate you so much. You killed all of those fuckers, you bitch.
Yep.
And John's like, but I told...
Jesus, Jackie Dunn.
Yeah,
Jackie Didn't know you felt this way.
Take it down a notch. She's like, I told the police everything. And Jackie Dunn says, you were living with another woman and you never told my sister that. You started saying you're getting back together and you were living with another woman. She's like practically wanting, you could just tell she wants to jump across the table and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And David is like, I told her not to be doing this. But he's like, you never told her that all these women, these affairs, you fucking asshole. And so then John starts going, you know what? Well, Casey was a cunt. He starts talking about Casey in the worst fashion ever. And
to
this
her
is after her
sister.
funeral.
Yes.
He He's saying Casey was bad habits. She was shitty.
She's hard to live with.
She was lazy. She was hostile. She was a cunt.
She needed to work out, and she needed to get off her ass. And
then he says, but we were going to renew our vows. And Jackie Dawn's like, you fucking asshole. You just been shredding my sister on the day of her funeral.
Right.
To me, her sister. And then he says, well, I told her we would be getting married in our same outfits. And Jackie Dawn says, but that went over well. What the hell? If she needs to fit in her wedding dress, you tell a woman they need to fit in their wedding dress to renew their vows, you dick? You would dare say that to any woman?
And he goes, well, that's the motivation she needed.
Yeah, that she said she was fat ass.
Yes. He was such a dumb asshole.
She needs to lose weight. What else? I had to inspire her to lose weight.
I said I'd renew my vows if she wore the same dress.
Yes. And then he says, I'm the victim. I'm being persecuted. Jackie Dawn was like, that's what she screamed. You dumb bitch. You have 2 dead wives. You're attached to 3 murders. You fucking idiot. And she's like, you're a suspect. You are a suspect.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. And then John is like, I didn't kill none of them. And Jackie Dawn is just foaming.
But then the recorder falls out of her pocket.
Yes. She has to bend down and get it.
She bends down to get it. And then they're like, okay, well, bye now.
It's like he's going here, and you hear clunk. Oh wait, never! Don't you mind this, nun? This is just my battery operated colostomy bag. It works on this recorder. You see, it records all of my shits and my farts. It's the newest. It's the newest, hottest thing. So you don't pay this no mind. You pay this no mind, John. And David said he didn't have to explain it at all. Just put it into your purse.
You can hear they have the tape to it. You can hear her going, I hope he didn't see the recorder fall out.
Saw that? And David's like, yeah. But he didn't care.
Anyway, they left and coffee was over.
So now the 2 cases come together and they're like literally sharing personnel and everything. Like they're in one big team. Casey Carroll's murder. Like the entire team is like just blended into one from a like 2 different police departments.
Yeah.
So then they said they wrote down all the similarities, and it took like a big 3 pages of legal pad or whatever written on every line. Like John was the one who alerted the police in both murders. John didn't know where Maggie lived, but he lied. He said he didn't have a key to Casey's house, but he did. So he had absolutely access to these houses. Yep. Evidence was planted, like Casey's purse, which he thought would be stolen and taken. But in Carol's case, they think he wrote those insane letters like, you do this again, I go get you. Yeah. With no explanation. And then he framed Barry Webb by signing his name on an invoice.
Yes.
And then why would Maggie be holding an invoice in her hand as coincidentally she's murdered at the same time?
Exactly.
And why would she have this in her hand at her home?
And she had retired.
Barry Webb's been buying a bunch of steel-plated dildos on Lockheed Martin's bill.
She retired, though.
Yes, why would she be dealing with any of this?
She was like 65.
John must have had such a rotten, rancid shit brain.
And he
had absolutely no sense.
Couldn't get him.
No. I mean, come on. They think John gets Maggie to let him inside, and then he just attacked immediately. He probably hit I bet Maggie ran for it because he took out Carol first, went to finish her, and then took time on Carol. And then he goes to Barry Webb's house to plant the murder weapons, but Barry walks in on him. What you doing?
I'm watching you.
I'm watching you. So they go to the DA again, and the DA's like, "Oh, fuck this guy. This guy sucks so bad." So just 2 weeks after Casey was killed, he's arrested for, I believe they thought the Carol case was a little bit easier to get him. So they let Eddie, the detective that had been on this case for 9 years, cuff him. So Eddie says, I went up to his door, knocked, and then he opened it and saw my face. And he said, "It's been a long time."
It's like a Western.
Yes, and he cuffs him. And then before Casey's death, John is asking about, getting insurance. And her friends are like, "You don't have any kids. You're getting divorced. Why do you need it? For who? Who would have your insurance? You don't need life insurance. Who's going to get it?"
Right.
She doesn't have family that it's going to go to except Susie.
So he was extra paying the premium, wasn't he?
Because he thought she would cancel it, but he was paying it and trying to not have it be canceled by her because he knew he needed it.
Yeah.
And then Jackie Dunn and David find all these financial papers that Casey had that John was finagling to get to himself and get it all ready. All these finances that the police couldn't for some reason get to. Jackie Dunn finds it all. And then John did need the money before the divorce went through, because after the divorce went through, he wouldn't have access to all this cash that they found. And then they learned that Lisa also was about to inherit a shit ton of money. So they warn her, just please make sure you don't, whatever happens, you don't go back to him because you're going to be fourth.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So John, though, it gets arrested for both crimes, and they think he killed, the two first women with the hammer. And so they get ready to go to court for all three, I think. Mm-hmm. And then right before trial, they hear that some dick in jail confessed to killing.
I mean, it couldn't be any stupider.
Carol. And so the police are like, "Well, what dick just confessed to this?" And they're like, it was Harry Balls over there. And they're like, "Oh." And so they go talk to Harry Balls, and they're like, "Well, everyone's saying you confessed to this murder of these two women." And there's the interview, and the guy is like, "Absolutely not. I didn't kill these two women. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I didn't kill no one.
Yeah, I'm not admitting to shit. I never said this." And so then they go back and they realize the guy who said that there was a guy, this Harry Balls, saying he killed Maggie and Carol, that guy who was telling that to police was John's jailmate, cellmate. And he was just making it up. He just pointed someone out in the prison and went to the police and said that guy admitted to killing these two ladies, but never told the guy to be in on the gag.
John really had a way of...
And then, John manipulated this jail cell buddy. Well, and you know how he did it. You know exactly how he did it. He had skills in that arena. I'm pretty sure he did. So the cops were like, "Well, this is all false information, you dumb fuck. You can't do that before your trial. Now you're in even more trouble." Mm-hmm. And then John's sending Lisa gross things from jail, and she's just vomiting. She just wants nothing to do with him.
He's trying to get his brother to do a bunch of shit for him. Go clear my name, brother.
Yeah. But both cases go to him and say, we're asking the death penalty for all women. So you're fucked. And so then the cops, and Jackie Dunn or somebody went and said, "My mom is old as hell. She doesn't want to go through a trial. I don't care. Give him a plea. If he can, I don't care about the death penalty. I just want him in jail for the rest of his life." The cops are like, "Well, we'll ask." So they go to John and say, "We'll take the death penalty off if you just say you're guilty to all of them, and then you're in jail the rest of your life." And he went, "Yeah, sure. That sounds great." I'll do that. All gone was all his innocence. I'll do that fine. So 2007, he just goes into court and they're like, are you guilty of killing the shit out of all these women? He's like, yeah, I am. I did it. I killed the shit out of them. I killed everyone. I killed one. I killed two. I killed three.
It's so dumb.
And they're like,
okay.
what was all this nonsense?
Yeah.
So it's still 20 years later, but now I guess he's in his 70s and now someone else did it again.
Yeah, he
wasn't
looks
him.
rough and he
looks
never
very
getting out.
rough.
So enjoy your
Yeah.
time there, John.
This guy is the dumbest and the
So
worst.
So dumb.
The dumbest and the worst.
He got away with it though.
For quite a while. Well,
Yeah.
2 weeks for the other one.
Yeah.
But 9 years
God.
for that one. And then you get bold. I got away with
Yeah.
killing 2 people and no
Yeah.
one cares. I mean, they care, but no one can do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's horrible. God, I'm glad this guy is rotting in jail, this idiot.
Me too.
Anywho.
All right, thanks for listening. Again, we have a book club, so you can read Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware with us, and find us on socials and share us with your friends.
That
Give
would
us a
be
rating
great.
review. We would love it. Thanks. Bye.